there, it's Jason and I'm back with another Biodynamic video for the month of August, looking at the lunar and planetary rhythms and how they affect the garden, to inform you of what to do in your garden when, and just be aware of some of the rhythms across the month. As you can see, I've got this lovely Biodynamic calendar behind me, and August is the month of celebrating and sharing with others. So in the gardens, the tomatoes are really beginning to ripen now. The courgettes are ready to harvest. The beans, it's a really busy time of the year for harvesting all the vegetables. Okay, so let's dive into the calendar. Firstly, just some key dates. We have the full moon on Saturday the 9th of August in the constellation of Capricorn, and then it wanes until the 23rd, so 2 weeks later, Saturday the 23rd, and it's the new moon in the constellation of Leo. We begin the month with the moon descending, so that's a perfect time for transplanting. But on Tuesday the 5th of August, that's when it reaches its lowest point on the horizon. So that's like where it will set each day, but it will set on its lowest point, and then it will begin ascending for the next 2 weeks from the 5th of August until Monday the 18th. So yeah, that's when the moon will be ascending, and that's a really, really good time for harvesting crops in the garden. Let's look at some other rhythms. So we have Apogee on Friday the 1st of August, and that's when the moon is furthest from the Earth. And we have perigee on Thursday the 14th of August, and that's when the moon is closest to the Earth, and that creates kind of an intensification, and it's an unfavourable day for gardening. And then we also have Apogee again on Friday the 29th of August, but it's actually an unfavourable day then, because of Venus is in a ascending node, and that causes some cosmic confusion. On August the 12th, we have a very interesting scenario, because you have two planetary conjunctions. So Venus conjuncts with Jupiter in Gemini, and then later on in the same day, the moon conjuncts with Saturn. So that means it basically is overtaken or within the cycle of the zodiac, and that causes a conjunction. But I just feel quite significant to have two. Oh, sorry, there's actually three, and then also later on, the moon conjuncts with Neptune. So there's 3 conjunctions in one day, which feels quite important. We also have 4 trines across the month. So that's when there are 2 planets that are 120 degrees apart from each other, and then in that sense they then create a third, which is they create a triangle. So you have the zodiac is 360. So you have one planet here, another planet here. That kind of creates a trine with what would have been the third planet, if that makes sense. So on Friday the 8th of August, we have a trine. We have an earthly trine, and that's interesting because the moon is already in the constellation of Capricorn, so that makes it, and so the moon is in Capricorn, and then 2 planets are also in earthly constellations, so that creates like a very ideal day, like an especially good day for tending to root crops on Friday the 8th. Yes, I can see here that we have Mars in Virgo creates a trine with Uranus in Taurus. So we have we have Moon in Capricorn, we have Mars in Virgo, and we have Uranus in Taurus. So we have all three of the earthly constellations kind of covered on Friday the 8th, so that's an especially good day. And also on Sunday the 10th of August, we have another earthly trine, and that's with Mars in Virgo, creating a trine with Pluto in Capricorn. Another key planetary date is Monday the 10th of August, and that's when we see Mercury move out of retrograde. So that appears from the perspective of Earth that it's going the opposite way, but then it will start going in its direct journey from the perspective of Earth. Okay, and there's some more trines on Tuesday the 26th of August, and they're both to do with elements of water. So at 1 a.m. we have a trine between Venus in Cancer and Saturn in Pisces, and at 1 a.m. this will actually be visible in the night sky, and that actually makes the kind of late afternoon, evening of Monday the 25th favourable for tending to leafy crops. And that's because from the moment of the trine, about how many hours would that be? Say about 6 hours either side of the moment of the trine kind of creates favourable conditions for tending to whatever element was involved in the trine. So there's a trine in the morning, and then at 10 o'clock in the evening there's another trine between Venus and Neptune. So that creates another period for tending to leafy greens when the moon is actually in the constellation of Virgo, but the trine overrules the constellation of the moon. For the 500 preparation, I would say Friday the 8th looks really good with the full moon the day after, but the moon is in the constellation of Capricorn, and it's also the day where we have that earthly trine. So for stirring and applying 500, I would definitely recommend Friday the 8th. Also, I should mention that the Sun begins this month in the constellation of Cancer, and then it moves into the constellation of Leo on Monday the 11th of August. I hope that's given you a good overview of the month of August and what to expect. And I hope you have a great time in the garden, and there's lots of opportunities to go out and look at the stars, look at the planets, and see if you can spot any of the trines that I've mentioned. So thank you, and I'll see you next month.